Hey, here we are, and we are so excited to be here to talk about one of our favorite things, eggs!
It's springtime, and the hens are laying, and obviously we just came out of Easter, so you may have a lot of eggs. So we're going to talk about eggs today, the nutritional benefits, the sustainability aspect of them, all the ways you can make eggs, and what you can do with egg shells.
And eggs are truly all that they're cracked up to be. I am just saying, you know, the hens are laying, and we are saying, and we are talking about this. And truly, think about this month. This is the end of Earth Month, although, hello, that's kind of all the time. Earth Day was on Friday, and you know, really, if we think about how we're going to protect our natural resources, how are we going to conserve, how are we going to preserve, we want to think about that in our own home.
Right.
What can we do? So let's kind of start with this idea of spring greening.
Yes.
What can we do?
Well, we're about to start planting, so there's a few things. So first, let's talk a little bit about what we do here at Sprezzatura. So we're a gold level sustainable restaurant, so we're always thinking about how can we be greening. So Leslie and I are standing in front of the green wall. This is an example of, you know, how can you bring like oxygen in your house? How can you make something look more vibrant and wonderful? Have living things around you. This wall is made out of recycled desks and wardrobes from Duquesne University with a partnership with Construction Junction, Carnegie Mellon, and the Trade Institute. So here we're like actually recycling people's lives into something meaningful and good. And we can do that in the kitchen too. So one way we also do that here at Sprezzatura is we support local farms. So when we talk about sustainability, we're reducing our carbon footprint. So I'm not buying eggs from Peru, I'm buying eggs from Starver, Pennsylvania. And our eggs are delivered here every Tuesday by Jarosinski Farm. They are organic in their nature. He just literally, right now, it's the day they lay, they arrive here. So we buy our cases of eggs like that, and we've done that since the beginning. So one thing that means is that they can be, do we want to talk about colors, Leslie?
Yeah.
Should we go there?
Yes, well, the only thing to add to that before we talk about that is when we talk about sustainability and people think, oh, that relates to the environment, but it's also self-sustainability. And that means that you are selective about what it is that you choose to eat to take best care of yourself, because who's going to do that for you? Nobody else.
No one's going to feed us except us.
That is part of it that is so important. So when you think about it that way, it's good for me, it's good for the planet, it's good for the farmers, it's all the way around.
Yeah.
That's a win-win. So that being said, and this is so cool, this is our fun fact for today.
We've got some fun facts. One fun fact, which I found out about from Kevin Jarosinski, who owns Jarosinski Farm, he actually brought one of his Rhode Island red chickens to meet me when he first started delivering eggs. And he showed me that the ear of the chicken is what determines the color of eggs. So here we have blue eggs, brown eggs, we have a pretty straightforward white egg, and you can see they're also different sizes. So one thing about, you know, the difference between buying direct from a farm as opposed to I'm in the grocery store is that in the grocery store those eggs have been regulated so they're all the same size, generally speaking, in your carton. In this case, you know, I wanted to show you a few things here. So, you know, eggs can range, a dozen eggs can range from pee-wee size, which are really tiny, to jumbo. And so that could be anywhere from 18 ounces to 27 ounces per carton. So that's a really huge difference, especially if you're baking, which is sort of an exact science. You want to know what size egg you're getting. So in general, here at Sprezzatura, we just use pretty much large eggs. My mom was a big extra large fan growing up, but we're large and in charge here. So
large
these are blue, brown, and so here's like a really good example. So we've got this egg, which is pretty big, next to this egg. So you can see they're different. Sometimes they come out and they have like little nubs all over them or specks. It doesn't matter, they're all eggs.
But one of the things I think is important for people to realize is that we think about the outside and different colors and different sizes, but inside you're going to have equivalency. And this is something that is critically important for people to understand.
Right.
Again, on the idea of self-sustainability and preservation and everything else is when you think about the egg, please do not throw the yolks away. It makes me crazy that it's money down your disposal all the drain.
Yeah, plus you lose all the protein. Like can we talk about what happened around why eggs got a bad rap? Because even I was telling you, even my own personal trainer's like, egg whites only. And I'm like, no, egg yolks. So why?
Okay.
What is the matter?
So let's
Why do
put the
people do
myths
this?
to rest.
Let's put
Okay.
the myth to
So,
rest.
when we look at an egg, so we have two parts of the egg, right? The white and the yolk. Now, one of the things about the yolk of the egg, that is where the dietary cholesterol is. So for years and years and years, the American Heart Association said, if you have high cholesterol levels, if you're lowering the risk of heart disease, do not eat foods that are high in dietary cholesterol.
Right.
The assumption being that if you eat foods that are high in dietary cholesterol, your blood cholesterol level is going to be through the roof. The good news is that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I didn't think that
The good
happened.
news as well is that there are other components of what we eat, meaning perhaps too much saturated fat or
Right.
too much sugar, that have a greater impact on it than the egg. So that's number one, eat the egg. Number two is if you just eat the white, and there is protein in both the white and the yolk. So people think that like there's no protein in the yolk. Wrong. Half is in the yolk, half is in the white. But the other part of it, in that beautiful yellow color, there are substances called lutein and
Right.
zeaxanthin, and those are plant nutrients. They're actually very good for the health of the eye and may prevent macular degeneration. So we keep those peepers intact, right? That's a good
excellent.
thing. The yolk also has choline, good for our brain, for
Choline.
pregnant women, for the developing brain of the baby. Iodine, it's in the egg yolk. So if you are not eating it, I'm telling you, literally, this is nutrients down the drain. Plus iron,
Yep.
vitamin D, it's here
And vitamin
in the
E.
yolk.
Isn't there vitamin E?
A little bit of vitamin E as well. So no yolk, right? I mean, don't do that. I mean, it's no joke, no yolk. Eat them. You have to eat them. That is critically important. And the other cool thing is it's not just eating the egg itself, but please eat it, is that when we think about the egg is you can actually do something with the shell. What can you do with the shell now that your mouth is full of egg? It reminds me of that movie, The Replacement, you know, he's shoving egg. Or full hand loop, either way, it's like awesome.
So one thing too, an average egg has how many grams of protein? 6?
7 grams of protein. So and it literally is half-half. So half in the white and half in the yolk. So if you throw the yolks away, you're getting half the protein.
Right.
Why? That's just ridiculous.
Right. So it's a great way to start the day because you have a little bit of protein. I like to start the day with a hard-boiled egg. It's a good thing. So when I make a hard-boiled egg, a couple things about it. There are different worlds of making the hard-boiled egg. You can make a 6-minute egg, which is like sort of a little bit of a soft. It was very trendy a couple of years ago. You look at the Bon Appetit cover and there's all those little nice little soft ones. Not quite soft boiled, it's more towards the hard boiled, but it's only a 6-minute egg. So you want to bring your water to a nice boil, not too vigorous, and you carefully drop your eggs into hot water. We put a bunch of salt in the water here at Sprezzatura and a little bit of white vinegar. And what that does is it sort of gets the shell much easier to peel, so nothing more annoying than trying to peel a hard-boiled egg, and it's like,
And doesn't that
That's
also
like
help
so
to prevent
annoying.
that egg white from coming through? It's like, oh my God, it's like the egg has a tumor on the outside.
yes.
We don't want
The
that.
egg has to find a bit of it. So basically, you put your eggs in there and you put your timer on it. So you could do a 6-minute egg if you like it slightly softer, or you could do a 10-minute egg and it looks like Leslie's. And then once it's done, you immediately drain the hot water off of it and you put it in a cool water bath. So in case of a commercial kitchen, we can flash it with ice. Sometimes I just take the pot and shove it in the freezer for a little bit, you know, make
Whatever it takes. So that when you peel it,
It just
you're
comes right
actually
off.
just getting the peel and not like half of the white that again is waste. We don't want that.
You got it. I have a friend who has chickens in her yard. She actually microwaves, somehow steam microwaves. I've not done that before, but you can Google it. That's why we have the internet. Now, when you're done with the eggshell, you know, here, these are from this morning. You can crumble them up and then let them dry out because they'll have some yolky, they'll have some membrane on them maybe or something like that. So let's just let them dry out. And then here's where it gets really great. So spraying, cleaning, spraying, greening, right? So when you go to plant your herbs, like if you have a little herb garden, nothing's more annoying than the slugs, okay? It's like war on slug in my garden, okay? No slugs. And how you do that is you can just like, I'm just gonna use this houseplant as an example. You just put them around, once they're dried out, you put them around the base. No slug on earth is gonna wanna climb over this prickly mess to get up on these greenery. It hurts them.
They don't like that.
Hate it.
Yeah.
So especially some of your more tender things like that are slug prone, like basil, kale, any of your greens, you can put them around the base, and you'll need to do that like every once in a while because the rain will wash it away. And then you have a natural deterrent, you're not spraying or using nasty chemicals.
Eggshell, the gift that keeps on giving to keep your plant living. Yes. We love that. And the other thing about egg, and look at this, so here we are now. We are in the grocery store. We are in the grocery store and buying eggs. So when you buy the egg is a couple of things. I mean, you do want to do a show and tell, right? You want to take a look at the egg and
in the store.
There we go.
Right. And when they do this, why are we doing this?
We are doing this to make sure that all those eggs are intact, because otherwise, you bring it home, you have a cracked egg, it's a little worry about food safety. You have to get rid of it.
That's
right.
You
have to throw. So we want to know so we don't have to throw. Second thing is that when you buy the egg, is really thinking more about cardboard. Why? Because this is recyclable, and again, on our theme of being good to Mother Earth, we want to do that. Third thing to think about is that when you buy eggs, is when you look at the label.
Look here.
So when you look here and you see used by. Used by is an indication of the best quality.
Right.
It does not mean, however, that, oh my God, I didn't use them by the used by date, I have to throw them.
You don't have to do that. Yeah.
Sometimes people buy eggs in larger quantities, and even this idea of like break, separate, whites, yolks, freeze, if you're not going to do them all. So
That's right.
You have eggs available. And when you get home, even though people still have, we don't have it on our fridge, right there on the door and the little place to put the eggs. Don't do that, because that's the warmest part of the refrigerator. They need to go toward the back. And I think everybody should have a refrigerator thermometer. I mean, let me touch. No, touch is useless.
No.
You really need to know.
Yeah, so we want to tell you about refrigeration and why that's a good idea. So 41 degrees or lower, okay? If your fridge, and I just want to let you know, when you stand out there, with your plumber's butt hanging out, hovering over the deli drawer, you're
what a visual.
You're increasing the temperature of your refrigerator. So once you do that, you need to keep it closed. Eggs should go on the bottom. It's a great, the basic reason is if they break, they're on the bottom of your fridge, right? The other thing you want to do is you want to keep your chicken on the lowest shelf at all times. It's got a lot of bacteria, and so when we're talking about chicken, we talk about eggs, bottom, okay? The other thing too, when we were talking about use by, there's also best by dates. There's also buy, which I see on meat now. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? You could buy it, take it home, and it could sit around for a while.
Right, or like bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Or bye-bye.
So it's kind of, it can be confusing for consumers. The rule of thumb in our world, if there's a buy-by date, you should use it as soon as possible, just because what the grocery store is trying to tell you is, this is on its way out, you should buy it and use it. Usually that's in the case of meat. But eggs are pretty, they're in a shell, and they're pretty inert that way, and you can keep them in the fridge for quite some time.
And also keep them in the carton. Don't take them out, you keep them in the carton. So, a couple of other things about this, because this is Food Waste Month, or trying to prevent that and trying to think about Earth Day. And this is, I have a colleague who's written this book, I love it. Zero Waste Cooking for Dummies. So it means all of us can do this. I mean, and it's just wonderful ideas and tips and reuse and repurpose and upcycle and all those types of things. Plus, the Egg and Nutrition Center also has wonderful information, and this is how to reduce food waste. The kind of the great thing about eggs, it's like the glue. Who knew? So you can take that egg, you can have it alone, or what can you do with those eggs? Oh my God,
they're so versatile. We use so many eggs here at Sprezzatura, it's crazy. So we buy them obviously by the case. And so eggs are, of course, they're great binders, so they go right into your baking. We also do vegan baking here, which does not include eggs, but you have to have different kinds of binders. So eggs are great for that. Eggs are great to make an egg wash on top of your bread, so it looks nice and golden. Eggs are terrific binders in meat. All of our meatballs have eggs. Eggs are great as a strata. I just sold a strata yesterday. Somebody was like, I remember eating your bacon strata from last Mother's Day, and I want one right now. And I was like, excellent taste memory. Let's do it. So I made her a bacon strata. Of course, that's bread, eggs, bacon, onion, cheese. Lots of binders in that. You often see an egg bake cheese, because it's another binder as well. but you don't have to put cheese on everything. We do, we're a restaurant. So I did want to show you something we made this morning, which Leslie and I are gonna eat.
Yeah, this is just gorgeous. So, kind of the idea of a little mini frittata. So 2 things about this. 1, it's easy. Actually, 3 things. 2 is for people who don't eat vegetables, put them into this because you're eating something that you like, but you're still sneaking in the health. But we always love that. And 3, you can do them individual, right? So if you are a small family, you don't want to make a big frittata. You do them this way and you can freeze them. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. We love things like this.
So the only way we did this, I put a little bit of asparagus, of course that's in season now, really through the end of May, and then some asparagus tips and a little bit of kale through the pan, really quick flashed it, and then mixed it in with my eggs. So this is the equivalent, this is 3 eggs, a little bit of cream, salt and pepper, whip it up. I sprayed a muffin tin with vegetable oil, and then poured it in with some Parmesan cheese and some half and half mozzarella provolone, and bam, done, 30 minutes.
And
Simple.
you're getting the pro and the pro. The protein and the produce, 2 for 2. I mean, that's an absolutely wonderful thing. And you know what? Eggs are affordable. And we think about sources of protein. These are one of the most affordable sources of protein. The price has not changed that much. So, you buy a dozen eggs, depending upon the ones you buy, $2.29 to $2.99. That is really affordable. And because they're so versatile, eat them alone, mix them with things. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? There's no rule that says you can only eat eggs before noon. Wrong at any hour of the day. People love breakfast for dinner.
Yeah, they do. And you can pair this with like a turkey sausage or something like that. Suddenly you've got a really high protein meal. So if you're really interested in upping your protein game, which women my age need to be doing, you up your protein game, you've got more energy, you're taking better care of yourself, you're keeping it lean and mean. That's what more protein means, and you've got that with your eggs, and you can, like Leslie was saying, combo it with your veggie with another protein, you're good to go. One thing I wanted to ask you, Leslie, about this Egg Nutrition Center is, can people go online and find that?
Yes, it is eggnutritioncenter.com.
ENC.
So easy to find, great information. We are so excited that you spent some time with us. It was extra special to have you all here today. So get cracking, start snacking, start eating, take care of yourself. We'll finish.